What do we have at the foundation of the reading, please? Ace of Pentacles, Earth Energy at the foundation. Okay, what do we have at the sacral, please? Five of Swords in reverse, Aquarius energy at the sacral. Let's get one more, please. Six of Wands, Leo energy at the solar plexus. Okay, so what I've been picking up in the energy for the past few days has to do with the upcoming Mercury retrograde. This particular transit is going to be triggering old, unhealed wounds. Wounds that need your attention at this time before you are able to move forward, otherwise known as Mercury coming out of retrograde, down some sort of new path. Now, the Ace of Pentacles at the foundation is the new path. This is the sacrifice that the universe is asking from you. Anytime you are trying to manifest something into your life, whether it's big or whether it's small, no matter what it is, when you are asking for some sort of support from the divine, or you are wanting to see some sort of movement in your life, there has to be a sacrifice. This is your admission fee to being able to access a new state of being. And there's obviously many different levels to this. You know, if it comes down to something that has to do with your health, this is the universe saying, okay, well, in order to improve your health, then you need to stop consuming this. You need to stop engaging with this. Whatever it may be for you, that's the sacrifice. And that isn't always easy. And that's why it's categorized as something that you must give to the universe in order to be able to become this new version of yourself. And this is also called transmuting. It's when you take something that can be perceived as a negative and you give it to the universe to turn into a positive for you. And that's exactly what this Ace of Pentacles is representing at the foundation of the reading. This Ace of Pentacles shows us very clearly that there's a path right here, and there's pinnacles there. I always see those as the pinnacles of success in relation to whatever it is you are trying to manifest. And then the Ace of Pentacles here is the universe saying, okay, here you go. Good job. Let's get this thing on the road. The Ace of Pentacles is the literal support from the divine. But in order to trigger this in your life, you have to take the first step. That's what the aces are always about. This is the divine looking at you and saying, okay, there's potential there. We're in. We're going to invest in this. But we need to see our investment, that being you, take the first step. And I recently heard somebody say that the most dangerous word in the English language is potential. It just means that you haven't done something yet. So having said that, in the context of this energy here, it feels like something is right on the precipice of taking place. But again, it all comes down to you taking some sort of step. And I feel the step all has to do with this Mercury retrograde. This is the divine saying, hey, in order to take the first step down this path, we need you to review some things in your life. We need you to quite possibly let go of some sort of energetic baggage or something that may be weighing you down on your path. So as we get a little bit more into the weeds here, what I'm seeing here with this Five of Swords in support of the message coming through so far is you needing to terminate some sort of unhealthy relationship in your life. Now, this is going to show up differently for all of you. It doesn't always have to be the most obvious thing, right? Which has to do with somebody else. It could have to do with the relationship you keep with yourself. And I feel that that's going to be the majority of you. You know, quite often I see people leave comments under videos saying, I've already released this person. I'm no longer in that environment. But they're still carrying the energy of those people, of those environments with you. And it has a way of filtering your experience moving forward. This is something that I believe I mentioned in the most recent members video. Quite often we forget that there's still behavioral patterns. There's still these kinds of mindsets or just a way of moving that came with those energies we've released. And this can show up in ways that are completely undetected. It's more subconscious. It's like somebody treating you poorly. And even though you've released that person from your life, you're still carrying some sort of resentment with you, which now colors the way you interact with other people. And this could show up as you simply being guarded, not allowing new energies into your life, all because of one other person's treatment of you. And this is all going back to what the divine is trying to get you to focus on right now during this Mercury retrograde transit. And this Mercury retrograde is actually in Cancer, so it's all about healing. It's all about deeply embedded emotional wounds, shadow work. And I always like to remind everybody that this isn't a matter of you completing all your shadow work or being perfectly healed. That is a lifelong process. It's just not something that we can conquer overnight. It's all about just recognizing that something is there and starting the process of working through it. That's it. And it sounds simple enough. But the problem is with these sorts of areas of our life that the universe is trying to get us to focus on right now, most people don't want to start digging into this stuff because it has a way of opening old wounds. But what you start to find out is you're not reopening anything. In fact, the wound has always been open. You just decided to ignore it. And that's the whole problem here. See, we're not actually going back and repeating some cycle of horrors just for the sake of it. We're going back and realizing that that cycle of horror, so to speak, or whatever it is that you may be dealing with, was never closed out properly. And that's what this is all about. So, to recap, the Ace of Pentacles at the foundation is the universe's support, but it needs an offering. It needs a sacrifice. The Five of Swords in reverse at the sacral is your understanding of this, and this is you getting on with the process of terminating any sort of unhealthy relationships in regards to what it is you're being guided to release right now. See, it all comes down to a relationship you keep with yourself. That's what we're trying to heal here. And then the Six of Wands at the solar plexus being the chakra that represents your drive and your confidence, is showing us a victory. This is you coming out the other side with flying colors, might I add. So you actually pull this off. The universe comes through. Hey, we got this for you. This is what we need. Five of Swords, you get on with it. And Six of Wands, you conquer it. What do we have at the heart, please, Spirit? Four of Pentacles, Capricorn energy, at the heart. Now, the Four of Pentacles at the foundation is very interesting because it's further highlighting what I feel it is that you're trying to align with and or just manifest into your life. Now, the example they're giving me here has to do with money, but it's like somebody who's trying to manifest some sort of wealth into their life, but they're really bad with money. So the universe says to them, hey, well, how is that going to work out? It doesn't really make sense for us to give you some sort of wealth because it's just going to slip through your fingers. So let's do some work there. Let's start working on your finances. Maybe you need to cut spending. Maybe you need to open up a savings account. Maybe you need to open up an investment account, whatever it is for you that you're being guided to do right now. But there's something here. And this is a general example because what it's telling us is that there's people in the collective right now that are trying to manifest things into their life that aren't actually in alignment with the way they've been moving. And it's not to say that you can't manifest those things, but you got to do the work. You got to move right. And it goes back again to the core of the message in that there needs to be a sacrifice. The sacrifice could be you learning how to handle things better in your life. So when this manifestation comes through, you're able to keep it. Once you really start to understand our relationship to the universe and the process of offering up things that no longer serve our highest good and potential, in other words, the sacrifice, it changes everything. And it's actually quite a simple process. It's not very complex. Yes, I understand that the process of releasing things personally can be a bit difficult, but our relationship with the universe is very simple. We have a tendency to complicate it way more than it needs to be, but it really does come down to the universe saying, okay, you want this? All right, well, you got to get rid of this. This doesn't work in the context of this manifestation that we're trying to give you. Okay, you want this? All right, well, you need to learn about this so when this manifestation comes through, you know how to actually use it. Okay, you're trying to manifest all this into your life? Okay, well, let's put you in a cycle where you're learning some new skills. You're learning how to handle this thing. And then a few years from now, when you're ready, then we'll bring it in. When you are grounded in reality with an understanding of this kind of framework, things just start to come to you because they want to be with you. And this comes back to the vibrational laws of manifestation, becoming the vibrational match to that which you are trying to manifest into your life is also one of the keys to this. And this is something that I think has been coming through in some of the other readings that I did over the course of the past couple weeks. If you want something to come into your life, you have to put the work in to actually become the vibrational match to it. And then it just comes to you like moths to a flame. Most of the time, if we're having a difficult time trying to align with something or manifest something into our life, it's simply because we're not the vibrational match to it. This isn't the universe punishing you. This is the universe saying, well, look at the math. This doesn't add up. Come back when it adds up. It just all comes down again to the vibration, to matching the frequency. So you match the frequency and then you start vibrating at the frequency. The vibration is the act of the frequency. Sort of like an old radio when you're tuning to a station. The station would be the frequency. And then the sound you hear from the radio would be seen as the vibration. So you tune yourself to the frequency of the manifestation, and then you vibrate that frequency out into the collective, which magnetizes that particular manifestation towards you. Once you actually start to put this into practice, it makes perfect sense. It just comes down to really understanding how the universe works. See, the universe is like a giant calculator, and we're supposed to use addition and subtraction, right? Adding certain things and subtracting certain things so we equal the correct frequency. And again, once this becomes something that is second nature to you, which I'm telling you guys, just try it, just practice it. Start off small and then work your way up. But once you really begin to understand this, it's just something that you do without even thinking about it. It just becomes a way of life. Because what you start to find is as you're releasing all of the things that are dragging down your vibration, you start to align with the version of yourself that is actually correct. It's to say that throughout our lives, living in the third density, we have picked up so much energetic debris that we have been dragged down vibrationally speaking. And when you begin to understand the process of releasing to raise your vibration, then everything just starts to feel as it should. See, and that's what living in the third density is all about. Every single day, we're going through a vibrational war and we don't even know it. We're bombarded all day long with distraction and just all these things disrupting our energetic field. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? Seven of Swords, Aquarius energy again. So 5 and 7 of Swords, both Aquarius energies. And these are two of the tougher energies that you can pull in the tarot, okay? But I feel the 7 of Swords here is, again, putting further emphasis on what the universe is expecting from you as a sacrifice to be able to step onto this new path. That's the simplest way I can put this. This 7 of Swords is representing some sort of betrayal or some sort of deception that a lot of you have faced on your path. And look, who hasn't? Okay, we've all gone through something. But what we're seeing here is a number of you still carrying something with you. And this can simply come down to, again, resentment. Just something that is still with you. Something that it's like a thorn in your side that you're carrying down your path with you, even though you have moved on from certain energies in your life. It's like you still carry the wound with you. It hasn't healed up. It's just been bandaged over, but it's still festering underneath that bandage. That wound has been there for so long, you've all but forgotten it was even there. Sort of like when you see a scratch on your body or something, or some sort of cut, and you're like, when did I get that? And then you start to think about it and you're like, oh, I've been like itching that without even being consciously aware that I had a cut there. This is exactly what I'm getting here. In other words, it's like knowing that you're wounded, but you've just tuned it out, which I feel is just a metaphorical representation of how much this thing may have impacted you. And this is obviously just a roundabout way of saying there's something there that you may not want to look at. You may not want to face. You may not want to come to terms with. A lot of you are going to release some serious emotional baggage in this transit. You're going to come out of it feeling like a completely different person. That's what this transit's all about. You're going to be so much lighter, and there's going to be this newfound sense of self that you're going to be incorporating into your path moving forward. You guys don't even realize it yet, but at the end of next month, your life is going to be completely different. And it doesn't necessarily have to be your environment or your day-to-day. It's more how you interface with your life. See, that's what makes life different. It goes back to what I said about the old radio and tuning to a specific frequency. See, it's like you could be in the exact same place geographically speaking, but you start interfacing with your life differently based on what you've just released, which sees you now vibrating at a whole new frequency. It's like having some newfound sense of hope. You just feel that everything's going to be okay now because you're not carrying this thing with you anymore. Or rather, you're just not trying to hide from it anymore. I think that makes a bit more sense in the context of what I said in regards to you don't have to be perfectly healed. See, it's okay to move down your path wounded, but what you don't want to do is pretend like those wounds aren't there. The 7 of Swords shows this individual in a courtroom. There's an energy of judgment on this table, energy of finally facing something. but also understanding that it needs to be faced in order to, again, start making your way down this new path. This all gives the energy of closing out a cycle. This is what it looks like. You get to the end of a cycle in your life, and the universe says, all right, okay, well, how about we close this thing out and get on with the show? That's where we're at inside this energy. You know, a lot of you have been asking for this. You've been praying, you've been manifesting, you've been meditating, and now it's showing up, and this is what it looks like. Hey, we heard you, okay? We're here. We were never ignoring you. But it's all a matter of us actually witnessing you put some sort of inspired action into all of this. And that's what allows us to respond to you because of your free will. We can only respond to you. And the way we respond to you is all based on the way you are moving inside your everyday waking life. So if you are tuning your radio to the frequency of wanting to heal, then we're going to send through healing for you. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Oh, unbelievable. So this just followed what we said. 6 of Pentacles, Taurus energy at the third eye. Clear as day. Look. That's your hand. That's the universe's hand. Dropping the pentacle through this portal. Here you go. Good job. You did it. We told you that as long as you did this, as long as you worked through this process, the pentacle would be yours, which is our support on your path. Through time and space, we come through with support just for you because you have tuned your radio to the correct frequency. So we are now here at your service to support you on this path moving forward because we are a direct reflection of how you are moving inside your everyday waking life and how you are treating yourself. See, the way we treat ourselves is exactly the relationship we have with the universe. See, when you think about the fact that you are an incremental piece of the universe, it begins to make a lot more sense. It's like all of us being a piece of God. See, when you recognize that you carry a divine spark, self-respect transforms from a casual preference into a spiritual responsibility. In other words, this is like you saying, you know what? I'm a vessel for the divine. I hold this unique spark inside of me. It's something that I have began to recognize through the process of releasing all of this energetic debris that I've picked up on my path. It's like I've uncovered something that I wasn't able to access before. And I see now why the universe guided me to do all of this. This entire time, I was beating myself up, which was all the result of just my everyday dealings inside this third density. And what I have come to find out through the process of healing this inner child, so to speak, is that I myself am a divine spark. And that's something that needs to be protected. I'm unique. I'm beautiful. I'm exactly how God made me. I'm exactly as the universe needs me to be because I'm here to fulfill a mission. And I don't need to know every last detail of that mission. All I know is that I need to do my best to become the person that the universe needs me to be in this very moment, despite where I may be at in my life. This is the universe saying, hey, take a deep breath, strip away all of this karmic debris you have picked up, and remember who you are. And as soon as you do this, as soon as you really do this, the next sunrise will look different to every other sunrise you have ever seen, because you will now be interfacing with your reality in the way that you were always supposed to. And I just heard, when you walk with the divine, you need not raise a hand. The victory is already written. What do we have at the crown, please, Spirit? Hermit. Wow. There's something different about all of your energy, the people I'm reading for today. This is a uniqueness here. We see the hermit right here, just walking in this crowd of people. Nobody would know that this person is who they are. They're a vessel amongst the people. These people are just going about the everyday grind of life, completely unaware that this person walks amongst them. This person could quite possibly be sent to keep this particular environment that they walk through in balance. It's going to be different for every single one of you. But I absolutely believe that a lot of the people that listen to my channel are these very people. You're in particular environments and communities because there's something about the frequency that you're able to tune to that allows your vibration to bring certain spaces into balance. Now, this doesn't always look the way that sounds. A lot of the times that can be very disruptive. Some of you are sent into environments to break them down. So you don't just walk into an environment and start vibrating at a certain frequency and bring everything into balance. That's not how this works. A lot of the times you're sent into environments to create disruption, to shake things up, to strip away everything in that space that is not serving its ultimate vibration. So there can be a breaking down first, a complete annihilation of an environment before it's rebuilt and now vibrating at the frequency that it's supposed to. And I'm seeing the tower in my mind's eye, which is an energy of annihilation. But it's necessary to be able to rebuild on a more solid foundation. So many different ways this can show up. And this is what I'm getting in this message. So when we go all the way back to the beginning and we think about what was being asked from you, it makes sense. It's like the universe needs you to maintain yourself because of the responsibility you have inside the collective as a vessel. And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have judgment. Judgment card is speaking about your purpose. You know, your purpose, when you think about it from a universal perspective, it's not always something that is loud. A lot of the times it just has to do with you moving a certain way inside your everyday waking life. Your purpose is to heal and to do whatever you can to clear out any noise so you can be the best vessel you can possibly be. And when you begin to do this and you incorporate this kind of relationship with the universe, there's really not much that isn't possible if it's in alignment with your highest good. You know, a lot of the times people are trying to manifest things into their everyday waking life, and it's not in alignment with their highest good. It comes from a place of ego, and that's okay. Sometimes we don't realize it until we think about it all from this perspective that it is coming from a place of ego. But if you start to align your manifestation with your highest good, you'll likely find that you can manifest something so much better anyway. We make plans and God laughs. Very similar to what I'm getting here. But it's always better when you go the way the universe is guiding you to go. What do we have at the foundation, please, Spirit? 6 of Wands, Leo energy, again. So we have that twice, but this one I read in its negative polarity. Now, this 6 of Wands represents ego, so just follow to what we said. Now, what we have here is 2 different paths. We have the Ace of Pentacles, which is the divine supporting you and requiring a sacrifice from you in order to begin going down this path. And then this 6 of Wands here feels like an alternate path, one that's not supported by the divine. Let's say this could be the path of selling your soul, maybe a quick fix, or not necessarily doing things the correct way. It just feels like laugh now, cry later kind of energy. See, we all have this choice. You can take the path that we laid out in the top row, or you can take this path because you have free will. The universe doesn't force you to do anything. It just hopes that you'll want to be in concert with it rather than entertain these other lowly energies that are not in alignment with your highest good and potential. And this is very clear. This is like taking the right-hand path or the left-hand path. This is like going with God or going with the devil. This is like doing things the right way that's in alignment with your highest good, or selling yourself out, selling your soul for some sort of quick fix and or fame. We always hear about this. There's countless stories of people who have gone down this left-hand path, and we all know what that looks like. We all know how that turns out. Never turns out good. And it always seems that these people lose everything that they gained. And it feels like it happens in the blink of an eye. It's like, wow, that person was just on top, and now they're losing everything. And that's what we have here. So you have a choice. You can do it the right way or you can do it the wrong way. And I feel that this is the universe asking you right now, hey, you've gotten this far, okay? We're at the crossroads here now. So what's it going to be? You're going to really see this thing through? You're going to really lean into your faith and allow us to support you through this process? Or are you going to take this other path? It's up to you. This could be the very question that a lot of you need to even ask yourself. And I feel that this is coming up because, again, this whole process of needing to do this shadow work in order to set off down this path properly without all the energetic debris that you have picked up along the way is a thing. You know, a lot of people simply just can't be bothered. They don't want to do this. But what we have here is a clear blueprint on how this is done the correct way. And from here on out, it's up to you. It's always up to you. So you decide. What do we have at the sacral, please, Spirit? Knight of Pentacles, Earth energy, underneath the 5 of Swords in reverse, at the sacral. The Knight of Pentacles from this deck is a very self-serving, stubborn kind of energy. This is somebody who's resistant to any sort of compromise. So this is the very kind of individual that would push back against everything we're saying here. Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm going down this path. I could be at my destination in a week from now. I'm not taking the long route and doing shadow work. Who wants to do that anyway? And, I feel that this is truly representing the very people that we have seen take this path. And this reading right here is an example that the divine is laying out for you in relation to this path you're being presented with. The divine wants you to see the people that were given the opportunity to do it right. This is the divine clearly saying, don't make the decision they made. Don't do that to yourself. It never works out. Just do it the right way. By the time you get there, they would have lost everything anyway. Just take your time. Enjoy the journey, whatever that means for you. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Six of Cups, Scorpio energy underneath the Six of Wands at the solar plexus. Now, the Six of Wands is showing us the victory that you attain by going the right way. The Six of Cups right underneath it is what happens by taking the other path. It's like you go down the other path, maybe you have a quick win, but then as you keep making your way down that path, you find that you're losing things. Everything just starts to slip through your fingers. And then as you keep going, it feels like you're kind of looping back around. And then after a while, you realize that you have just walked in a complete circle. You didn't go anywhere. All you did was just lose a pretty significant chunk of your life. Going down a path only to wind up exactly where you were before you started going down that path, but way worse off than before. Because again, you have just lost a bunch of time. You're going to be a bit older, going to be worn down, and God knows what else has jumped on for the ride somewhere along the way. But worst of all, you feel about as far away from Source and the divine as one can possibly feel, because now you're standing there with your tail between your legs. This energy here is about doing things the right way. And at this point in the reading, that's the core of the message. Just do it right the first time and get it out of the way. What do we have at the heart, please? Five of Wands. It says right there, immorality. Unbelievable. And that Five of Wands there is an energy of obstacles and challenges. This just follows everything we said perfectly. The Four of Pentacles is an energy of stability, support. The Five of Wands right here is an energy of conflict, tension. This is two completely polar opposite realities that I'm picking up here. Again, right hand, left hand path. It's like this is the upside down version of your true north path. And I feel that that is a really good representation of how parallel timelines actually are. It's like timeline jumping is when you jump between these different realities of how you interface with each reality based off your conscious awareness and your relationship with the universe, again, which is all based on the actual frequency that you're vibrating at. It's to say that here you are in this reality, you're finally having some sort of breakthrough. But then there's that version of you on another timeline that went down the left-hand path. It's like you're at the top of the crossroads and the universe is saying to you, hey, here we are. Each one of these paths is a different timeline. Which one are you going to choose? It's like you look down the right-hand path and it just looks like this road that goes on forever. Can't see anything. It's just some trees and maybe some terrain. And then you look down the left-hand path and it looks exciting. It looks like the Las Vegas Strip or something. Just another example of selling your soul. It's like when you look down the left-hand path and you see that Las Vegas Strip-esque excitement, it's like, that's it. I mean, there's not going to be anything beyond that. But you look down the right-hand path and you can't see anything. I mean, this is such a perfect example of two different kinds of people. Just asking people, hey, which way would you go? And then we have the Two of Wands, Aries energy, and it says love and wisdom. The Two of Wands here is speaking about the support that's coming through from the divine. They've heard your requests, your prayers. They've seen you manifesting, or just whatever it is you've been doing. And this support is here for you. But it doesn't come without some strength testing first. In other words, this is the universe doing what the universe does to make sure that you're not going to fumble the bag, so to speak, when you get it. Right? This is what this all comes down to. Are you going to reach for the shiny object that's right in your face? Or are you going to take the path least traveled? See, the breakthroughs usually hide where most people don't have the patience to go. What do we have at the throat, please, Spirit? 3 of Swords, Libra energy at the throat. Now, there's something about the illustration on this card that really gives they took the path least traveled, which gave them the power to pull the sword from the stone. This 3 of Swords is the energy of healing, which brings us full circle to the original message, which is what this was all about. Get on with the healing. Get on with the releasing, so you can get on down the path that you were always intended to take, so you can discover the real power that lies within. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? High Priestess. Pisces energy at the third eye. So the third eye for the High Priestess in my readings is the home position, okay? It represents you trusting the guidance that's coming through. In other words, this is you following the blueprint that the divine is laying out for you here, doing things the right way, which again brings through that 6 of Pentacles. So you all know what you need to do, but temptation is a hell of a thing, especially in this world we live in. And a lot of the times, at first glance, it always seems a little bit better than doing things the correct way. But the devil is in the details. But I really feel that right now you have gotten to this point in your life where the universe is trying to make it very obvious to you in your everyday waking life where this devil energy exists. It's like saying, okay, here's these 2 paths, and you look at the left path and it's clear that that's going straight to hell. But still, it looks tempting. You don't have to take but 2 steps and you're seemingly showered in riches, so to speak, right? Just metaphorically speaking. It's like everything is there, everything you could ever want. It's right there. Reach out and grab it. But every time you turn a corner, it seems like it's 1 step closer to the center of hell. Or you can go down this beautiful path here. But there seems to be something magical about the uncertainty. See, when it comes to our relationship with the universe, it's always going to show up as anything is possible. The devil will show up as, yeah, you can have this right now. This is what you can have. The devil shows up as a quick fix. The divine shows up as potential, as long as you're willing to put in the necessary steps to get here. Okay, let's close out the reading. Spirit, what do we have at the crown? The Emperor, Aries energy at the crown to close out the reading. You know, I mentioned earlier on in the reading something about breaking down of unstable foundations in order to rebuild something back with more stability. And that's exactly what this Emperor card is. You're moving on from a cycle in your life where there was some sort of uncertainty or some sort of unstable foundation, now into a timeline where you are going to be rebuilding on a more solid foundation with the divine support. But it's all based on you making decisions that are in alignment with your highest good and doing the necessary releasing work as a sacrifice to the universe to be able to set off down this path. There's a strong emphasis here, again, on your connection with Source right now and Source trying to help you do things correctly. But like I touched on earlier on in the reading, we are all under perpetual spiritual warfare inside this third density. It's just the way it is. Everything is distracting you from your highest good and potential. Everything is trying to disconnect you from having a relationship with the divine. That's why this is always such an issue. And that's why I channel these sorts of messages through, is to help encourage all of you to make the decisions that are always in alignment with your highest good, so you can actually get to where you're trying to get to. And for real, you know, even though I'm a tarot reader and a channeler, and this is all spiritually based, this is actually very grounded in reality when you strip it back to the basics. All of it speaks about just doing things the right way and it actually turning a positive result. But however this shows up for you all right now, I certainly hope that you receive this message well and that you know how much support is actually here for you. You just have to reach out and take it. And this blueprint right here is a really good way to do it. So with that, I will leave it here. All right, this is what I have for all of you. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. If you got something useful from this video, please give it a hype to help get it into YouTube's algorithm and push it out to other people. Information for personal readings can be found in the description down below. If you would like to join the membership side of my channel where I upload additional videos every week, you can find the link to do so down below. I'm also currently running a 15% off sale at PLUTOBEANstudio.com, which is my store that is made up of things that I have designed and created myself. If that's something that you are interested in, you can see a number of the items in the sidebar or below the video. I would also like to extend my gratitude to everybody who donates. Thank you for your support. I really do appreciate it. But in closing, I would like to know how this reading resonated with you. So drop me a heart and or a comment, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Take care.